All right, Heat Nation. So it looks like it's time to start talking about contract extensions, especially with Tyler Hero probably getting a contract extension before mid-October. So right now he's still waiting, but we have until mid-October to decide. And if not, he'll become a restricted free agent. And if someone tries to offer him a lot of money, we probably will retain him if he had a great season. I really don't see a situation where we don't retain Tyler Hero, even though he was rumored to be in particular trade packages, but you never really know what's going on behind the scene. I feel like we like Tyler, but let's see what happens after this season. But this video is going to be about the 2019 draft class and who got extended and who hasn't gotten an extension and probably won't get an extension. So let me go ahead and get into the video. So the first player on the list, #1 overall, was Zion Williamson. He was an NBA All-Star in 2021. And obviously he's a future superstar if he can stay healthy. He did not play last season. He had a Jones fracture in his right foot, and it looks like it's healed pretty well. His extension is $231 million. That contract would start in the 23-24 season, and if he doesn't make an All-NBA team or win a major award, he won't get that full extension. He'll get $193 million, which is still pretty good. So #2 on the list, we have the best overall player, in my opinion, Ja Morant. He was a 2022 All-Star, Most Improved Player, and NBA Rookie of the Year for the draft class. He's, like I said, he's easily the best player in the draft class. On July 6th, he signed his 5-year extension with the Grizzlies, and like Zion's contract, it's worth $231 million with the same rule. If he doesn't see all that money, if he doesn't make an All-NBA team. But hey, who's surprised by this extension sign? I mean, those are no-brainers there, those two guys. The third one on the list, to me, was very surprising, and it's RJ Barrett. So remember, he got drafted #3. RJ Barrett is the youngest Knicks player to average over 20 points per game. So he's a pretty good player. He recently got extended, and basically his extension was 4 years, $120 million, which was what a lot of the GMs were expecting him to sign for. So, it's not a bad signing. It's just people thought they were going after Donovan Mitchell and probably would wait to extend him or maybe let him be a free agent. #4 on the list, DeAndre Hunter. This guy, he's only played 71 games over the last 2 seasons, and he averaged 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist last season. Currently, he's with the Hawks, and there were talks between his agent and the team, but apparently the two sides are $20 million apart. And I think he's likely going to be a restricted free agent next summer. #5 on the list, Darius Garland, I think is one of the best young point guards. He has been an NBA All-Star in 2022, and he's the fastest Cavalier player to achieve 300 career three-pointers. Last year, Darius Garland averaged 21.7 points and 8.6 assists, which was a pretty significant jump from his previous season. His contract extension was $231 million, so similar to Zion and Ja Morant. So he got that 5-year extension, and more than likely the same rule. If he doesn't make an NBA All-Team, he's not going to see all of that. He's going to see 193. So I think that was a pretty good signing, and that was a no-brainer. He's a good player. So #6 on the list, Jarrett Culver, originally drafted by the Wolves and now playing for Memphis after a trade in late August of last year. With stats like 4 points, 1 rebounds a game, he's definitely going to become an unrestricted player next summer. Memphis had denied his club option, so that's going to make him an unrestricted free agent versus a restricted. But he might not be in the league next year, but he is young, so maybe a team might take a chance on him, but he's not getting like a big contract because he hasn't been productive. But we can see what happens during next season. #7 on the list, Coby White. He started off last season with a shoulder injury, and he ended up, he played 61 games and started in 17 games. His numbers were down last year compared to his previous years, and that could be because they have a lot more guards that were playing, so now he's sharing time between Alex Caruso and Lonzo, and also Ayo actually got some minutes last year, so that obviously didn't help his position because now he could have gotten an extension if he was really good, but you know his production wasn't really that great. There's a good chance that they're going to look to trade Coby White, or maybe he's going to become a restricted free agent in the summer. Number 8 on the list, Jaxson Hayes. Recently, the biggest news with him was the domestic violence situation where he received probation and 450 hours of community service. He's a decent backup center for the Pelicans, but more than likely he's going to be on a trade block, and if he doesn't get traded, he's going to be a restricted free agent next summer. But I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded. Number 9 on the list, Rui Hachimura, the Japanese-born player. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Rui. He's definitely not going to get an extension. His numbers aren't horrible, but as of last season, he only played 42 games. So right now, injury is a concern for him. With the Wizards more than likely not going anywhere, he's probably not going to get traded, but he is a trade candidate. He'll probably end up being a restricted free agent next summer, and based on his performance this year, they'll figure out if they want to maybe give him an offer, or maybe another team offers Rui, because he's still young, so you never know. He may be good. Number 10, we got Cam Reddish, aka the Paul George of the draft class. I mean, this guy has been such a disappointment, and a lot of it has just been injury. And so originally he was drafted by the Hawks, but now he's with the Knicks. And again, big disappointment. But, you know, it's hard not to be disappointed if you are always injured. And also, he kind of reminds me of Justice Winslow. I mean, the Duke players are always hurt. I mean, look at Zion. He's the best talent from Duke in a long time, and he's always hurt. So not surprised that, you know, New York Knicks now have themselves a version of Justice Winslow where they're hoping that, you know, he can turn it around this season. But last season, he did absolutely nothing. I don't even know if it's even worth mentioning Cam Reddish's numbers. He's obviously not going to get an extension. The crazy thing, though, is that this guy thinks that he's worth $20 million a year. I don't know when he thought this. Maybe when he was with the original team he was with, which was the Hawks. But I don't think at any point he was worth $20 million a year. So if he still thinks he is worth $20 million a year and that he should get an extension, then he is probably more than likely going to end up in China, because he's delusional. So more than likely, he's going to be a restricted free agent. Also, it is a Knicks, so you never know what they're going to do. They're always doing silly stuff. So maybe he has a decent season this year and they give him an extension. But I wouldn't think he'd get an extension before mid-October. That would be dumb. Number 11 on the list. This is a pretty good player. This is Cameron Johnson. He plays for a really good Suns team, and he's a really important role player for them. He plays defense, and also he shoots 42% from 3 on 6 attempts. That's really good, considering that we have Duncan Robinson, and he shot like 37% last year. So, you know, 42% actually pretty good. And I'm thinking, you know, based on what all the rumors out of the Phoenix media outlet are, you know, he's probably going to get a contract extension, maybe worth 15 to 20 million a year. That's similar to what, you know, Mikal Bridges got. He got 4 years, 90 million. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets extended before mid-October. Also, if not, he's going to be a restricted free agent next summer, and if he has a good year, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to try to throw him a nice little contract. Number 12 on the list, we have PJ Washington, another good role player. So he plays defense. He's 6'9", and also he's able to space the floor. So he shoots about 36% from 3, which is decent for a power forward. A lot of media outlets feel like he's not going to get the extension and more than likely will become a restricted free agent next summer. So I wouldn't be surprised for that. Now we're going to skip over number 13 because it's the most important person in the video since he's a Heat player. So we're going to go straight to number 14. Romeo Langford. I remember wanting this kid in the draft. He was originally drafted by Boston, and now he's with the Spurs. I do not expect him to get a contract extension. He's more than likely going to be a restricted free agent, but he is on a bad Spurs team, so maybe he has like a year where another team might be interested in him, or maybe the Spurs are interested in retaining him. Maybe that's why they ended up trading Murray, because they're, you know, wanting to see if maybe this lottery team that they're going to have is going to have some potential good players that they can hold on to for the future. So maybe Romeo revives his career with the Spurs. And again, he was a number 14 pick. So that was the last lottery pick. We're going to go back now to Tyler Herro. All right, guys, so I lied. So originally I was going to go ahead and only do the lottery picks. But then when I look back at the list of players from that draft class, there are a lot of players that are at least worth mentioning. And the first one I'm going to mention is Grant Williams, who went to the NBA Finals. His situation right now, him and the Celtics, they have paused talks about the contract extension. So what I think is probably going to happen with that is he'll probably end up being a restricted free agent. I don't think they'll trade him. He's a pretty good role player. So they're probably just going to save the money talk until next summer. So he's more than likely going to be a restricted free agent. And the next player I want to mention after Grant Williams is Jordan Poole. This is crazy that he's doing an extension. I almost forgot that he was in this draft class because he's towards the back end of the draft. And he's an NBA champion. And there were some games where Stephen Curry didn't play. And he came to Miami in one of those games and he killed us. And I think Jordan Poole is a pretty good player. So in my opinion, I think they should give him that extension ASAP. Don't wait till mid-October. Go ahead, send him the extension. Don't know if he's going to sign it. You know, he could pull a Harden and not sign it because he's definitely going to get some offers next summer. So I don't see a situation where he gets worse. This guy is really good. He should have already gotten an extension. They're saying that he's probably going to get a 4-year, $100 million extension, but he might be worth more than that. So I want to see how that plays out. Last player I'm going to mention is Keldon Johnson. He's already signed an extension which was worth 4 years, $80 million. And he's a pretty good young player, so I'm not surprised that he got an extension. But another player that was drafted at the back end of the draft that, again, you forget that he's in the draft because he's at the back end of the draft. But good young player, good signing. So I like Tyler Herro. That's one of my favorite players on the team. He's easily the second most popular player on the team. He's eligible for a 5-year, $180 million contract extension. Obviously, you know, if he gets that extension before mid-October. Considering that RJ Barrett got 4 years, 120, I think at the very minimum, this is what Tyler will get. Some people are saying maybe 4 years, 100 million, which I don't think is that bad. I think it's a fair offer, but he might just decline that and wait till the summer, which I can't blame him for doing that because I feel like he's at least worth RJ Barrett money, so he should at least get 120. But with his popularity, you never know where his agent might play. He might just say, you know what, let's not worry about the contract extension. Let's just go ahead and play next season and play better because Tyler Herro is really nice. I mean, if you think about it, Tyler Herro is not Devin Booker, but Devin Booker is his favorite player. So to me, he's a demi version of Devin Booker. I don't really rate Devin Booker that high anyways. I mean, you had a guy that scored 2 points in the first half of a game 7. I mean, that's disgusting. So again, I was never one of those Heat fans that were high on Devin Booker and thought we should have drafted him over Justice Winslow. In hindsight, yeah, it seems like it makes sense, but we got our version right here, Tyler Herro. So he can still improve. I don't know why people think that, you know, where he was last year is like his peak. He's young, so, you know, give it time. You know, he obviously needs to continue to learn how to play defense consistently. But obviously, he might be the second worst defender on the team behind Duncan Robinson. And, you know, it's hard to defend at an NBA level. So they'll probably lock us regular people up. So you can't really talk too much about defense at the next level. But yeah, that's really Tyler Herro's weakness right now. And if he gets put into the starting lineup, that's a great thing for his value if he plays well, because Victor Oladipo is coming for that spot. And he might find himself in the 6-man role, which he might not be happy with. So that might be another reason why he might not sign the extension if one is offered to him. So what do you guys think? Do you think that, you know, we should offer Tyler Herro an extension, or should we wait till next summer to see if some dumb team is going to offer him maybe 188 million and then match that money? Or, you know, do we send him an offer for 120 minimum? You know, so 124 years and see if he signs it. What do you guys think? What should we do with Tyler Herro?